Hi everyone, welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday. I am exhausted today. Uh, it's you know, I'm glad that one more day, guys, and I can try to get some rest. And I'm doing better so far at the beginning of this year, taking care of myself. Um, I've been actually getting to the gym a little bit more. Um, and just what I'm working on now is getting more sleep at night because it gets a little bit complicated with things that's going on. But today has been an interesting day so far. Um, Earlier, before I came in and sat down to do this video, some woman in a black SUV ran the light, getting off the highway, whatever it was. And I had to swerve because she didn't have the light. I had the green light actually, and almost ran into my vehicle. And I just started thanking God that it didn't happen because it's like, ugh, it's a lot of craziness going on in this world. Guys, be alert, take care of yourself, and just make sure you are taking care of your mental and physical health as well. And make sure you're eating. I'm doing a little bit better with that because I'm so busy, but it's important, so I'm making sure I'm doing that as well. Um, so, guys, remember, I'm not a therapist, a social worker, or a counselor, just somebody who's gone through hell and trials and tribulations, and it's just been crazy. But the good news is that my life is better because of the positive changes that I made. Some changes felt uncomfortable but was necessary. Setting boundaries, making changes, because all the toxicity and the drama, as I said on a previous video yesterday, was causing health issues for me. One of the things I have right now that I'm actually seeing a doctor for next week is something with the sinuses that's going on. So hopefully, we can get to the bottom of that and get that taken care of as well. But one day at a time, one step at a time. But guys, since I set those boundaries and then I decide, okay, people were disrespecting the boundaries, they wasn't putting any respect on my name, I had to cut them off. Cut off, block, and delete. And when I look back at that list, it's huge. And some people are trying to come back, and I don't want anything to do with this. I actually had someone contact me, and they thought I didn't know, what was it, a day before yesterday, using a fake profile, pretending to be somebody else or whatever. But the language didn't sound right to me. It just sounded off. And I kind of figure out who it was, and I just put a message, no and never. I don't, they're not going to get a rise out of me, the people who I've let go, because it took me a long time to get to the point to let them go, whether it's family, exes, or ex-friends, or whatever. Because I had conversations before, I tried to resolve. And sometimes the resolution is to let go and let God, because what I'm noticing is that some people are not supposed to stay in our life. They're only there to teach us lessons. And then once we learn those lessons, those doors get shut so that we can move forward. We're not meant to stay stagnated and stuck in drama and toxicity. And once we get that and we start to do the work to heal, those doors or those people or situations no longer serve us because we learned the lesson. So we have to close those doors and let go. And sometimes that can be difficult, especially when you've known people for a while. It could be family, etc. But if it's bringing toxicity to your life, then you have to think about the next step. In my case, it was bringing health issues, And once I let go of all of it, my health started to get better. I was able, like I said yesterday, to start losing weight because, like I said, the heavy weight and being only 5'3", and then all the problems from other people trying to do this and that. And I just let it go and gave it to God. God, I need you to carry these burdens so I can fulfill um, my vows and to continue to help and help others to do the same through my example, and that's what I do and that's what I live. But the other thing I do, I don't stay in a place of bitterness because some people will be bitter, because of all this that they went through. I've learned from it. Then I changed my mind, my perspective, the way I was thinking about it to a different way, And once I did that, things changed for the better, and I stayed in prayer with God to help me. And as I take a step, God takes 2 and 3 steps on my behalf, and He continues to do that as I move forward. And that's the way I've been doing it, guys. And perhaps those who are showing up, welcome new ones, anyone here for the first time, and as well as everyone else. But know that, some people are here and they don't talk about what they're going through, and some people could be in a lot of pain right now because of their trials, tribulations, etc. Know that I speak from a space of personal experiences of everything that I go through or have gone through. And I talk about ways I overcame and not succumb to those trials and tribulations and the way I look at it now. And once I let go of things, I just let it go, I have no more emotions connected to it, especially when I've already cried my, self to oblivion or whatever. And then I'm done with it. So, guys, let's get into this topic of discussion. Know that I'm not a therapist or social worker. I'm not a social worker or a counselor, just someone who talks from a personal space. And perhaps I can help you through my own personal experiences. So the title today is Sometimes It Is Better to Leave the Past Behind You. Sometimes it is better to leave the past behind you. And I agree with that because first what I had to learn, guys, was to forgive myself for mistakes that I made continually. And on some of the mistakes that I made, continually letting people come back into my life who've hurt me, who've lied, told malicious lies, said I did the most and the worst. And one of those lies hurt me so bad because it came from a friend who, I thought we would be friends forever because that friend felt almost like family. And the malicious lies that I did something horrific that I would never do. And having people believe that, that's why I gave that, I said in my video yesterday, and I talked about how people say things about people, tell lies, said they did A, B, C, D, and E. When people say those things, you guys should really investigate. And it doesn't matter because they're sitting higher up and they're saying this and that happened. You still have to investigate what the truth is. I got to a point where I just leave it in God's hands because, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, what is in the dark shall be exposed to the light and therefore rendered powerless. And I let that play out because I go talk to God about it, and then let Him do the rest. Because when things get exposed with irrefutable proof, how can it be denied? I also did a video about a week ago where I talked about, I gave a illustration using a metaphor of 3 kids, A, B, and C, and that the mother was trying to find out which kid was taking her cookies out of the cookie jar. And they all said they wasn't doing it until she put a hidden camera and found out which kid it was. So I use that metaphor to describe those who like to lie on people and set people up because of their envy, jealousy, hate, whatever. And they want to get a reaction out of you. For me, there is no reaction but to go to God and prayer, unless it's something that really requires my attention. but I don't give any attention to this because I no longer am connected to those individuals, even if they're family members, because so much has been done to me. Have any of you guys experienced where so much pain has been inflicted upon you that you're numb to things when it comes to certain people and circumstances? You just don't care one way or the other. And that's where I am with that, because I'm staying focused on me. I choose me, and I choose God, and I choose to help other people, which is one of my vows to do that. One way I do that is on this channel. So it's so important, that I continue to stay on this path. And all those other things, I consider that to be noise. I use a metaphor, that's noise, and I'm not going to allow myself to be distracted by it. So if you guys made mistakes, and let's say you gave somebody another chance for the umpteenth time and they did the same thing or something worse, forgive yourself for that. And if you did something to someone, forgive yourself for that, especially those, so that you can move forward. Don't stay stuck in it and allow yourself to get bitter. And especially those that brought toxicity to your life, as you heal, guys, change your life for the better. I promise you, as you stay on a path to healing brings change. Healing brings transformation. And I'm talking from experience. Things that used to bother me and get me ticked off or whatever, and I'm all, upset, I don't look at those things the same way. And when someone tries to get that kind of reaction from me, I cut off, block, and delete. If I have to deal with those individuals, like let's say you're in a business setting, then I will deal with whatever is at hand in a professional manner, but I will leave it at that. I don't add extra, because certain people will try, to set you up for failure. And I see that, and I'm not giving any reaction to that. I would just close those doors and continue to focus on my healing and growth. Because, guys, once you do that, and I always reiterate, because once you start healing, you stay on that path, you eventually start to self-care, self-love, which equals inner peace. And when you get to the place of inner peace, you're unbothered by that noise and drama and toxicity, because you already healed those things. You already, and putting me in isolation and you can't, we're not talking to you. So, some people may not be able to enjoy their own company, but for me, I go into meditation and prayer, music, as I have here, flowers. I do things uplifting to build myself up, and then I close those doors and say, okay, God, then this was like a test, and these people no longer need to be in my life. Because if someone continuously bring toxicity to your table and you address it several times and they keep doing it, you have to set strong boundaries. In my case, I just cut them off so that I can stay in a place of peace. And as I did that, my health got better in so many ways. I'm at peace. I set those boundaries, and I'm staying true to myself. And I'm unbothered by the noise. I don't even hear it. It's like climbing a mountain. When you first start, you hear all these echoes and noise and sounds. As you get higher and higher, it sounds faint. And that's where I am with that stuff, because the truth will come out and reveal itself. And when you're dealing with people from the past who refuse to do the work to heal, or some people who do want to do the work to heal, they don't know where to start. Others don't want to do it at all. And then you have a group who love the toxicity so much and the drama that they don't want to be on a healing path. And everybody has a right to make their own decision. However, what they don't have a right to do is to try to force you to deal with their drama and negativity, and to drag you back into a space that you already healed. And that's where I am with this. So this is why I say sometimes it is better to leave the past behind you and close those doors, because now the way I look at it from a different perspective is that those were lessons, and the lessons have been learned, and now those doors get closed and those people go with the door, they get closed behind them. And then God will open up new doors, better people, better situations. And He will keep you in a space of peace as you continue to do the work. And you feel better, guys. You do better. Remember, your mental and physical health is everything. Without that, you can't take care of yourself or anybody or anything else around you. And keep moving forward. And then open up those new doors, because it's going to be better situations, better people, you know. And also, guys, I want to say, and as you do open up those new doors, meet friends, new situations, don't carry those old burdens from the past with you to your new environment. Never do that. Leave that where it is. And that's why it's so important to heal those things, so you don't carry those burdens to a new connection. Leave that in the past. And sometimes when people want to talk about you and say stuff and try to get a reaction out of you, the best response sometimes is no reaction. Because what do they have to come back with if you give no attention to a negative situation? That's what I've learned so far. It is so important, guys, to put yourself first, to have peace, to grow, heal, evolve. Because you can leave the past behind you, of things that no longer serve who you are. It's so important. Take care of yourself on a daily basis. Self-care. Do things that uplift you. Mix some laughter into that, because all those things are part of your healing process, and leave the rest behind you. So that is the message today, guys. It is better to be at a place of inner peace and growth than to be broken down into pieces. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. Guys, I will be back tomorrow. It will be later in the evening tomorrow due to my schedule, but I will be on. Please subscribe to the channel, invite others to do the same, and share these videos, because people need to hear the message. And not only share these videos, but also look at the links at the end of the videos, because it might be something that might help you if you're suffering with stress or having sleep issues at night. Take a look at that. I know it's helped me. And thank you again, and have a good evening, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.